Episode 6, incidentally, is my favorite episode for a few reasons. No, not like that. But damn it, everything is gay about this. See, again, I hate that that's becoming my catchphrase. No, the primary reason is Nobuo gets a delivery request to visit Toei itself, allowing the team to goof around the Toei backlots in what I refer to as a Movie Madness episode, which ends up even more meta than the normal meta-ness of a Movie Madness episode. As this one, through the fantasy, shows more of the process of how the stunt actors have to do things before effects are added, or how blows that don't actually connect will look to connect from how they're shot, or have to be aware of explosives in the battlefield. But back to the point, fun with the Toei backlot! Okay, I'll indulge in that one. Yeah, the Omori Hill, as it's referred to by fans, as is just a tree-covered hill, is a convenient filming location a lot of Toei live-action shows take advantage of because, well, they don't need a filming pyramid to use it. It's a spot between their film studios and offices at the Oz Studio in Oizumi City in the Norima ward of Tokyo. And best of all, meeting the stunt actors out of suits. This is actually my reason for loving this one, as, well, suit actors do not get the appreciation they should. And with Aoyagi's passion for fighting, this is part of what gets her enthralled like any newbie fan that doesn't see the quality of the stories in the good entries that I tend to more emphasize. This actually serves as the backbone of the episode, too, as stunt acting isn't just about the martial arts or the directing. It's how the flow of all this action should blend effortlessly into each other without error when you are doing it correctly. And sadly, something Sentai has lost in a lot of its bad entries as of late. Always all the more impressive with these shows as, well, for the majority of the time, they are fighting and acting blind, thus have to bear immense spatial awareness, and this episode pays that all the attention it should.
カメラを意識すること。映像の世界はカメラに映ったことが全てだからね。これが一番大事だぞ。
And like any good Sentai episode, learning these lessons leads to them being able to turn the power of the studio stories, which are usually used against the heroes when they happen, back on the villains to screw them over for the first time ever. Both acknowledgement and subversion together, playing hand in hand, while paying tribute to the men behind the scenes that make these shows great. And that is why I feel it's the highlight of the season. この偏差加減が撮影所編なのだ! That hasn't stopped Saban, or Shinichiro Shirakura. This, however, serves to be the turning point in the conflict, as at this point the Akibaranger's delusions have grown so powerful that Malshina, who by this point was a delusion of an antagonist for Doc's team to fight, by finding a picture of Doc as a child and the nature of this delusion invoking film tropes, allows her to escape into the real world. As in truth, they were not the ones to create her. Malshina and the other monsters are in fact the unused artwork from the Aoi 10 series Doc was involved in. It is in fact an escalation of ideas her father was responsible for, his disappearance causing her to imagine something horrible happened, which spirals into recruiting the Akibas, and now has grown entirely out of control. Malshina tricking them into entirely breaking reality, loosing the delusion free on the real world. In a way, they've achieved their wish of becoming real, official Sentai, in the worst possible way. And as always, you should be careful for what you wish for.
喫茶秘密基地でござる。東映のプロデューサーの塚田さんでござる。
Hideaki Tsukada is one of Toei's good producers. Joining the company in 1994, he's been in charge of many of Toei's hits, but tends to give the writers under him the leeway needed for success. He was also part of making Akibaranger awesome, as well as being in charge of Kamen Rider's Double and Fours, which were also great. The only thing bad about him is, unfortunately, that he is the one that started the emphasis on not only a cast overreacting to a surprised event, which can be bad if you use it wrong, but also the tendency for Toei Sentai Reds to be hot-blooded, thoughtless idiots, which today is one of the single biggest detractors to modern Sentai and have killed reception to multiple series, since modern ones focus more on such being glorified and a perfect ideal others should strive to be like, instead of that being a character flaw that they grow mature beyond to be less of. And it's the other things about the character which are actually supposed to be of merit, and thus why you don't want to strangle the life out of them to get them to shut up or stop acting like a selfish dumbass. However, despite getting the offer to be official, Akase turns them down. They have to preserve their anonymity now that Malshina's real. Or Zyuranger, or O-Ranger, or Gokaiger, or Kyoryuger besides one member, and even then it didn't stay secret, or Go Busters, and actually Super Sentai subverts this as often as they end up making use of it. So the team says, screw it, we're going to see Tsukada. And after gushing over more movies Arakawa wrote, because of course he'd have that kind of ego, only for them to then be rejected as that call actually came from Malshina. However, this is where things begin to twist with the appearance of a TV web ad. This is the DVD release of the series, by the way. This leads to them starting to find Malshina's subordinates in reality as well, and in turn to another battle that ends up furthering Malshina's plan to break down the walls of reality. The Akibarangers desire to become an official team and be seen by Tsukada, leading to them helping the monster become stronger.
特訓のパターンでござるな。拙者にこの子は倒せないでござるよ。秋葉イエロー。
やはりこれはいつの間にかヒーローと敵が絆を築いてしまうという解決が結構難しいあのパターン。
Still a better love story than Twilight, or 50 Shades of Grey.
待ってたバカこの展開。オイラは強くなってバカなこいつらはオイラに情が移って倒せなくなるバカ。遠慮はいらないバカ。全力でかかってきてほしいバカ。奴らいいやつなオイラに本気を出せないバカ。そうだな、本気出さなきゃな。そんな切ない物語へつながる今回のフラグ、今はっきりと把握したぜ。そっち。
And to finish it, they even take a level, and combine their delusion weapons into the outrageous cannon, adding to their legitimacy of a Sentai team. Amidst this, however, Doc is trying to track back her father's work, and where Malshina might have originated, learning Malshina was originally from Aoi Tan's series, which her father was originally responsible for creating, but again, as I said, was a discarded antagonist from it, leading her to realize the antagonist she made up to explain her missing father is actually her own father. As is explained, Doc's parents divorced when she was young, and he hasn't been active in her life. Thus, her own delusion is rationalizing away his absence in her life by him being taken from her by some outside force. But the nature of the changing delusion has shifted him into becoming her enemy. As such, as the series enters its endgame, she disbands the team, realizing things have gone too far and will only get worse if Malshina's plan continues. But as she doesn't tell them what's going on, they don't realize the danger. Thus keep on dreaming of becoming an official team, and are thus conned by Malshina again in the exact same way. And with Doc's dad stealing back the ZQs, all three are tricked into fighting more of the delusion monsters. And that's when the walls come down. Well, so that's what happens when you shatter the sky wall. Gotta say, I've never seen someone go and break the fifth wall. And despite their ZQs not being designed to work in reality, facing the cost of their screw-ups, Nobuo resolves to make up for it and channels every delusion he has to transform for real in a sheer display of solo badassness. With this, though, the villains have pretty much won, Hakase's dad revealing himself as the true mastermind Docs failed to tell them about due to their connection. Several of them, actually. Professor Monster, Dr. G, Dr. Shinigami, actually anyone with higher education kind of ended up becoming a villain in the Showa era. With this, Hakase is finally forced to come clean, showing them the concept art for Aoi-tan that was a lot more ecchi than the show that made it to air. Her dad was an engineer that was a hardcore otaku and decided to up and quit his job to become an animator, a decision which drove her mom to divorce him, and sent him to fully devolve into his own delusion of creating his own anime, only to be rejected when his original designs, including all of the monsters of the series, were deemed too adult-rated and perverse, and thus why this show has had those aspects in it, to end up on television or be seen as a good anime. Have you seen the anime and manga that have ended up getting made in the last 5 years? This wouldn't bat an eye of anyone that's watched Prison School. Funimation these days seem to, in part, thrive on importing the pervy stuff, too. Hell, there's a tentacle rape scene in Shogeki no Soma, a manga that is mainly about cooking. Do not even touch high school D&D. Thus, all of the art assets for it were redrawn by an animator and the ecchi elements gutted to make the Aoi-tan anime we've seen, as Doc's dad was in turn blacklisted from the industry. Thus, seeing the bastardization of his work become literally the most popular thing ever, with even his daughter ending up the voice actress that incarnated the character, it set him over the edge into turning his engineering work to evil. Their changers and everything generated by delusion power, results of his research into manifesting the power of imagination as a renewable energy resource. Which would sound ridiculous if this were not a franchise that had regularly used unusual expressions of spiritual power before as energy sources. And yes, the Tokuger were directly ripping off this show for their power source. Revenge by Kobayashi for the show being more popular with fans than Go Busters was. She's kind of spiteful in why I made that quip about it back in the Tokuger versus Kyoryuger review. Hell, all of the adults don't have imagination crap that was insulting within that show can be seen as her trying to get back at Akibaranger. And her dad sent her the changers to involve her in this plot, tricking her into this just as they were. They've all been used from the start, and now they're responsible for this mess. Dr. Zeto, now capable of attacking the people, culture, and industry that scorned him, with his newest warrior and second general, Delu Knights. Amidst this, however, as the Akibaranger mull over their new reality and the challenge they face, they come across a guy who saves a puppy. Aww. Wait, that's Shinpei Takagi, twin brother of Gekiranger's star Manpei, who previously appeared as his evil doppelganger in Gekiranger, before both siblings played the Hitachi twins in Oran High School Host Club. I wonder what he's doing here. Though with Delu Knight now around, Malshina and the rest of the chief clerks, all 40 remaining, Dr. Z has decided to lay off. After all, he's achieving what he wanted. Revenge. What need does he have of intermediary bad guys if he can skip to the ending of bringing suffering and devastation to the otaku who embraced a derivative, pandering version of what he designed specifically for them? Are you sure he's a parody of a Sentai villain and not the director of production and planning at Toei? Cause this is straight up Shirakura. But after the group are beaten down, Nobuo gets a call. Seems like Sayaka's returning his affections at the exact same time that guy shows up again, revealing Doc's cursed with a scorpion that'll destroy her voice and thus her ability for Aoi-tan to exist. However, notice something present here.
インターポールの特命刑事
カズコズ激ブルーがなんやの
この人がレッツって一目瞭然全然違うじゃん
CIA の技術力で開発した萌え萌えズキュンの呪い感知装置だ萌え萌えズキュンのエネルギー消費量に応じて消えていき変身できる回数はあと16回会いたかったよ姉さん僕の名前は都築拓磨都築武弘がニューヨークのアニメコンベンションに来た時現地で結ばれたのが僕の母だったんだ
Nobuo is no longer picking up on the Sentai references, and he hasn't been since the reality walls tore down. Leading up to the big one, Nobuo out of nowhere being called by the Pentagon to be recruited into the FBI, leaving the new guy, Takuma, to be instantly nominated to replace him, with everyone suddenly fawning over the cool new guy.
あとは僕に任せてください
Though as the new Akibaranger prepare themselves with new team jackets, exposition on the bond of disconnected siblings and how they're fighting their father desperately with references to O-Ranger in the backdrop, they engage Delu Knight and the new Delusion Empire, them burying new monsters designed to devastate Otaku, as Nobuo prepares to leave for his happy ending with Sayaka as she's also been chosen to be sent to the same area of America. But as he's about to leave, he encounters the out-of-work Malshina, who both realize something is wrong, with Nobuo finally finding the trigger.
サンバルカ23話のアマゾンキラーだな公認様の3クール目突入で新展開に伴い新幹部登場みたいな同時に初代バルイーグル大足龍介が NASA に招かれ代わりに日場孝之が2代目になった今の俺と拓磨の状況は
The shifts in the storytelling, the seriousness of the situation, the changes in scripting, story, and character dynamics, Moegi abandoning her cosplay, even the musical notes and shifts in visuals.
これがなければ俺はアメリカへ行けなくなる
ダメだよ今から川をさらって捜索するんだから
一介の日本市民をアメリカ国防総省が招くとかそもそも不自然だろ
When reality broke, the delusions didn't end. The delusions didn't stop.
生きなさいそして真実を掴んで
Reality became a delusion, defined by the Akibarangers' fantasy.
テロップだテロップチャンスとみなされテロップが流れるんだ
非公認戦隊秋葉レンジャー番組ホームページ
分かっただろう俺たちがいるこの世界は番組の中だったんだ
That is unmitigated genius!
てこ入れなんだ親子対立というシリアス要素の出現新しいライバルの登場そして主役新戦隊のレッドは俺の代わりにやってきた爽やかな2代目
This is seriously up there with one of the greatest reveals and twists Sentai has ever done, and it all flows together naturally, as you're so invested in the revelations that come from the silly dynamics being revealed to be more insidious that you don't even see it coming. It is a genuinely good twist for the show for them to realize that in their efforts to become a legitimate Sentai TV show, that they've been one all along. Even though this is a twist I've seen before, but only once before. As I discussed when I did a short video on the Braid series Mike Guy years ago, the We Are All Fiction reveal in an otherwise goofy show is a very hard, borderline impossible twist to pull off with any legitimacy. But here, it seems a perfect fit for everything that's happened, as the team's entire journey has been to become an official show, and now they are trapped in a reality defined by the fiction they were emulating.
みんな、とても残念だけど、インターポールから突然の帰還命令が届いてしまった。
ちょっと待て。貴様は俺の宿命のライバル。
この私が大いなる意志に操られている。
思い出してください。萌えに毒された秋葉原の人間どもを強制し、理想のアニメを世の中に発信することが目的だったはず。
スーパー、それを言っちゃおしまいよ。怒ったぞ。
K の魂を救うため、一族の長として貴様を消す。ふざけるな。
お父様。
目障りだ。
And thus the final antagonist of the series becomes everything they wanted. Just as Malshina wanted to escape the limitations of imagination to become real for a creator who set this all in motion, the fantasy of becoming a legitimate Sentai team has now ensnared all of them inside their story engine, and all the problems that come with it.
そこにいる制作者側の人間が俺たちの世界をねじ曲げようとしているんだ。それが黒幕の正体だ。
はてさぶろ？
公認戦隊の初期からずーっと名前が出てる人や。
Saburo Hate, or Saburo Yatsude if you don't get the joke, doesn't actually exist. It is a pen name used by Toei's writers back in the 70s because, in part due to them rebooting Super Sentai from Shotaro Ishimori's original series of Go Ranger and Jock, that's just how things used to roll when production companies wanted to keep talent in-house. Thus, for a fictional show that has become self-aware, it makes for a perfect final antagonist. Which brings us to the series climax. Delu Knight and Dr. Z ready to destroy the world as the Akibaranger try to figure out how to call out Hate by making use of ways to try and extend the lifeblood of their series, with a attraction subplot and a rivalry subplot that can't just go unresolved. This is how they will fight against the god of this world, loose-hanging plot threads. However...
私、ゆうちゃんのことずっと好きだったの。私、自転車でこけて骨折しちゃったから、格闘技やめることにしたわ。
機内のテレビで見たサンバルカンの劇場版にハマっちゃって、今度私の部屋に泊まりに来て教えてください。
はいはい、こっちも回収されちゃいましたと。
Yeah, it's hard to fight God when you are playing by God's rulebook.
これがハッテサブローの力。
Thus, screw trying to defy fate. If this is going to be their end, they're going to go out on their own terms.
もし俺みたいな痛いオタクがそんな番組見てたら、歴史から消されても絶対忘れることはない。
So with Delu Knight taking over the Delusion Empire from the indisposed Dr. Z, who was eliminated due to Malshina trying to drag him out of the story tropes, they have to avoid the final battle flag, and they pull out literally everything in the book.
メイドの土産に聞かせて。今日の俺は最高に強い。この戦いが終わったらふるさとの言い名付けと結果。
Dude, I'm pretty sure Malshina's just not into you. But no matter what they try, another flag just appears in their stead. Dr. Z recovering and killing Delu Knight, before the tropes rewrite him even further, revealing he's secretly built a giant robot which revives Delu Knight as what has to be the final boss fight.
I am pilot!
Leaving them no choice but to take the grown giant Machine Tasha for a final boss battle, but as they keep trying to avoid this fight, it just plays out without them doing anything. The show's on autopilot, and all they can do is destroy their own robot. I swear I can never tell what this show is going to do next despite watching it several times. It's like trying to predict Deadpool. Rube Goldberg Machine Gambit. But with the last boss beaten, sadly they're at the series' closure flags. Dr. Z's experience in the last scene on the verge of death seemed to have snapped himself back to reality. And the Akibas accepting their fate, with Doc getting her happy ending, with the reunion with her estranged father, as the rest of them endeavor to continue the fight, as Malshina still has not been dealt with. She is now the boss, and she chose to draw out this conflict for another full 6 months. Or at the very least a second season that sadly wouldn't be as well received as wonderfully as this would be. Akibaranger is absolutely fantastic. Constantly on point with its parody, there are a few bad jokes in it, and even the individuals they are making fun of, like the I am also a 29-year-old sentai geek thing, can admit they have a point and have fun with the joke. And its final arc is a pretty damn effective bit of self-satire resultant of the monkey's paw wish inherent to their desire to become an official show. With a Tsunarihisa Arakawa by proxy of Space Squad, they have. I have no real special insight beyond that. It's just a fun, hilarious time all the way through. And as I said, I skipped a wealth of the jokes that form the major backbone of the show, so there's more than enough to discover here for yourselves. Here's a hint. In the Sentai Cafe, one of the times they reshuffle the toys in the shelves, they place Kamen Rider Eternal out there. Try to find where and when. Hell, if you're actually paying attention, you can see in many of the episodes that the series was actually serving as viral promotion for the Space Sheriff Gavan revival happening at the time, which, as we all know by now, spiraled into a lot more Space Sheriff events that have been all pretty damn well received, as every part of it after the reboot movie was done by Arakawa. Arakawa is a huge Space Sheriff fan, and was apparently annoyed that he wasn't allowed to do that Gavan movie, despite inspiring the Metal Hero revival with Gokaiger vs. Gavan. Though I will admit, this should not be anyone's first time entry. This series is most certainly for Sentai fans, and those more ingrained with the Sentai formula, and its more notorious, popular, and influential series. If you've only watched series made after it, you won't much like it either, as more recent series have certainly been derivative of these same elements, as is Toei's want to endlessly echo the popular stuff instead of using them all for their own emphasis and direction. But I feel I really do connect to the cast through the proxy of my own experiences as a fan, in the same way I feel Gai Ikari is one of the best Super Sentai 6th Rangers ever. And now they're all a proxy for real fans that wish they'd get the chance to go legit. Because this really is to me what the series is. The best expressions of fandom. From old school, from new school, and from newbies at it all coming together to pay respect to the series their senior, even if they might not quite be official material themselves. Though in the end, Nobuo can be considered to have legitimate validity as a Super Sentai star. After all, he married Red Buster's sister. At least their actors got hitched. Though the one thing I'm really disappointed about this series is Aoi Tan never got her own OVA series. That is a massive missed opportunity, especially in the wake of Ultraman Geed, where they made their in-series toku show, Don Shine, a full-on OVA episode on the Geed Blu-rays. Oh, well, maybe if the series ever got a season 3, we might see that. In the meantime, though, I'm Shinta, and I will see you all next time.